Money, success, wealth, happiness, these are things that everybody yearns for. But can an international club actually get the average person closer to achieving that? We're here today to find out the answer. With an exclusive interview, we have the founder of one of the most successful, influential private success clubs in the world, Mr. Kevin Trudeau. Thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Corey.
These are just some of your credits. International businessman. You started over 100 companies. You've seen pictures of you with Kissinger, General Schwarzkopf, celebrities, members of royal families. You've been called the infomercial king. You're a marketing guru. You have many international best-selling books. So what exactly is the Global Information Network?
Today, I founded, as you know, the Global Information Network, which you talked about in the beginning, which is an international success club. And the reason I founded that is that really is the legacy. I've achieved a lot, as you know, and a lot of people know, and that's fine. But really, what am I doing to give back? So the founding of the club now allows me and the other members of the council, when we founded this club, to help other people achieve their goals, dreams, and desires. And that's the major reason why we founded the Global Information Network. We call it GIN. We have members in over 150 countries around the world, and we actually teach people the principles of success that the global elites use and know that really are being kept from the public. So it is a club where people from around the world can now join, meet and associate with very wealthy people, celebrities, people with international accolades, leaders in various industries, mastermind with other people in marketing and business and health, longevity, biohacking, spirituality, the leaders in these industries, and learn some of the behind the scenes, we'll call it secrets to success, to help them achieve their goals, dreams, and desires like myself and many others have.
How did this all come about? What was the seed of the idea? How did you come up with it? And what was your overall purpose in creating it?
One of the greatest kept secrets in wealth creation or money, which every wealthy person engages in. And it's really one of the greatest kept secrets for making money out there because nobody talks about it in any book. Although Aristotle Onassis, one of the richest men in the world, did mention it. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But that greatest kept secret is associating with other wealthy people, people that have more money than you. A person's income is always the average of their 5 best friends. Who you associate with determines who you become. When we were kids, our parents would say, stop hanging around those people, you'll turn out just like them. Well, that's true. If you hang around with the wrong crowd, you'll turn out just like the people in the wrong crowd. But if you hang around the right crowd, the wealthy people, the successful people, the happy people, the healthy people, it rubs off. You become just like them as well. And Aristotle Onassis said that if he was absolutely broke, the one thing he would do was he would be in the room and associate with other wealthy people. He would meet other wealthy people or people that had more money than him. He would associate with, he would try to develop relationships with, and he would listen to them. He would try to figure out how they think and how they act, and he would mimic that success. That is the critical key. And if you look at all of the wealthy people in the world, if you take the Forbes 400, every single one of them is a member of some type of club or association or secret society, whether it's Yale University's Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, whether it's the Bilderberg Group, some of the people have heard of some of these organizations, or even if it's just an exclusive country club, or Harvard University's alumni club. These clubs, these private associations, these groups, and even simple ones like YPO, Young Presidents Organization, or for years, the Masons was one of those societies, or the local Chamber of Commerce was one of those societies, or groups or associations. Every one of the wealthy people understand the power of the mastermind, and that is meeting with and developing relationships with other people that are motivated, inspired, and have success habits. This is talked about in Napoleon Hill's classic success book, Think and Grow Rich. He learned these principles from the richest man in the world at the time, Andrew Carnegie. He also learned them from Henry Ford. He also learned it from J.P. Morgan. And he also was interviewed and learned it from the richest man who ever lived, who would become the richest man who ever lived, which is John D. Rockefeller. All of these people talk about you must create a mastermind. You must associate with and develop relationships with people that have more money than you, that are smarter than you, more intelligent than you, more successful than you, healthier than you, have more connections than you. And unless you plug into that type of group, you're never going to assimilate that type of successful mentality. And by doing so, you can then achieve great success. This happens whether it's in bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger talked about this in his Netflix documentary, how he would associate with all of the champions and he would work out with the champions and listen to their way they talked. He would learn their mindset, not just their routines. Yes, he learned their workout routines and their eating routines, but mostly he learned how they thought, their mindset. And by associating with all these very wealthy people or very successful people in bodybuilding, he became the champion in bodybuilding. Then he went on to talk about how he associated with wealthy real estate developers. And a lot of people don't know his second career was real estate development here in California, in Beverly Hills. He became one of the largest real estate people in the area because he associated with, he joined clubs, he met and mingled, and he developed relationships with people that had more than him, that knew more than him, that had more experience than him. So the Global Information Network is that unique club that's international that allows the average person who is not going to be able to go to Yale University Skull and Bones because they didn't go to Yale and get invited. They're not going to be invited to Bohemian Grove. They can't afford a very successful exclusive country club. They didn't go to Harvard, so they're not a member of the Harvard Alumni Club. They're not a young president because they haven't built a successful company, so they can't join YPO. So we have people from around the world, from a variety of industries and a variety of income levels that join GIN, the Global Information Network, and get to meet and mingle those successful people and get to learn through the courses that we offer the success principles, the method of how to manifest or create anything you want in life.
Not everybody can get into the Global Information Network, can they?
But for years, it was by membership was by invitation only. An existing member had to refer or recommend to the club, hey, I think this is a good person that we should allow to join our club. And we've lowered the barrier of entry now for a short period of time where people can actually go online, go to our website, globalinformationnetwork.com, fill out an application and apply. And the cost to join, the membership dues, are very reasonable and low. It's not low enough because we don't want people that are flat broke to join, but it's not exclusive like $100,000 or $250,000 like some of these other clubs. So it is a barrier of entry that a person can join, the average person can join. And when they join, they get some things that are valuable. First, they get access to our 2 core training programs in the club, which is the Success Mastery course. That is an audio course that I deliver. So they listen to me for hours, and there's level 1 all the way to level 12. It's like getting a PhD in success. It's the training that I received by being in the Brotherhood, which was a secret society. I learned these success principles. It's nothing I invented or developed. And I teach the members via the Success Mastery course, level 1, success training. How do you think? What do you do? How do you set goals? How do you overcome objections in life? How do you overcome adversity? How do you handle setbacks? How do you raise money? How do you start a business? How do you achieve more energy in life so during your day you don't get tired in the afternoon? Everything from making money to health to being happy and fulfilled. We call it the trifecta of success, which is health, wealth, and happiness. And those are the 3 things that we really cover in that training. The second course that our members get exclusive access to is the Science of Personal Mastery course. Now that's a written course. There's 100 lessons. So when members join, they download and get access to lesson 1 and they read it. Sometimes reading the lesson takes 20 minutes. Sometimes reading the lesson tells them to do some processes, to do something today, tomorrow, the next day to start developing success habits. So maybe one lesson may take 20 minutes or 15 minutes a week for, 5, 6, 7 days. And then you go on to the next lesson. So those are the two core trainings that a person gets when they join the club. The other thing our members get exclusive access to is local chapter meetings. We have members, as I mentioned, all around the world in over 150 countries. So we have local chapter meetings that people can go to each month and meet the members in their local community, whether it's the bankers, the local business owners, the teachers, people from a variety of industries, where they can meet and develop relationships with, which gives them some advantages in life because it's a fraternal organization. Members pledge to help other members, and meeting those other members can be really critical. We also have 4 weekend events that we put on. So around the world, we have a weekend event 4 times a year that members from around the world can go to. And if they can't go live, we broadcast it virtually. And sometimes there's thousands of members at these events. We have speakers. You get to meet and mingle members from around the world. You go to exotic locations, great hotels, great meals, great seminars, great workshops. It's a mastermind. You get to meet other people, learn things that you didn't know before, get inspired, get motivated, and it creates virtually a energy bubble where when you leave, you're transformed. You got a boost when you leave the event. They're incredibly powerful events. In addition to that, we also put on seminars and rallies where people can then go every 4 times a year and they can get a seminar. They can go live or virtual and on a variety of subjects. And then we have members telling their success stories about how they've used the techniques and really succeeded in their life.
How long ago did you come up with this? How long has gin been around? And is there a way for people to sort of vet the success of the people who have joined and the things that they've maybe been able to achieve since joining?
Yeah, on our website, globalinformationnetwork.com, we have a whole host of videos from members who are telling their success story. And the success stories that our members have achieved by joining the club, going through the training, meeting other people, it's estimated that hundreds of millions of dollars in investments between members has occurred, business transactions. There are members who talk about they joined the club and their income has gone up tenfold since they become a member. Members said, I joined, I was making $100,000 a year, now I'm making $1 million a year because of the people that I met, the information that I learned, the training that I got, and it worked. I was able to create the life that I wanted to. We started the club back in the 2000s, so almost 20 years ago now, the club was started. It actually was formed by a group of us. It's called the Gin Council, and it included some very powerful people. The names are anonymous because they're from a variety of industries. A couple of them have passed away, like Henry Kissinger and General Norman Schwarzkopf and President Gorbachev of the Soviet Union and others. Very wealthy, powerful people that are very freedom-oriented, who want people to learn what they know and what kind of goes on behind the curtain so they can empower themselves. We actually met at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Istanbul, Turkey, and we've been discussing it for about a decade before forming this club. And in Istanbul, we met at the Ritz-Carlton and we came up with the whole concept of forming the club, allowing virtually anyone to join, keeping the entry level reasonable so that people could join from around the world, and then have access to the same information that the privileged elite class have had for decades that the average person just didn't have access to.
The folks that you mentioned that have passed, as well as the people who are anonymous that formed it, was their only motivation just trying to help people?
The reason the club was formed is all the people on the council, including myself, were members of, we'll call them secret societies. They're not so secret. I mean, you've heard of Yale University's Skull and Bones.
The members are secret.
Correct. And actually what goes on in the clubs is secret
Right.
or privilege. Both President Bush's, as well as Secretary of State John Kerry and many Supreme Court justices were known members, proud members of Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
In George Bush's book, he said when he went to Yale, they invited him to join Skull and Bones. He says a secret society. And then he said in the book, a society so secret, that's all I can say about it.
Right.
So you know the society exists, you know who the members are, but what goes on is not discussed. The Bilderberg Group, we know, we have photos. I was there at Sea Hotel Uberfahrt in Rotterdam.
Uberfahrt?
Yes, that's the name of the hotel.
Okay.
Sea Hotel Uberfahrt
Okay.
in Rotterdam, Germany, south of Munich. And you see the people coming out, kings, past presidents, people who would become presidents in the future, members, the top people in the IMF, World Bank, the top chairmen of multinational corporations, the media. And you see on camera, like Alex Jones and things would go there.
Yeah.
And they would film these people coming out of the building. It's a meeting that's more impressive than the G7. I mean, it's more impressive than Davos. It's more impressive. There's more people at the Bilderberg. It's not reported by any news organization anywhere. It's as if it never happened. But clearly it does, and it did.
Why do you suppose it's not reported on?
The reason it's not reported on is the people that are there really don't want you and everyone else to know how the world is really controlled. That's the bottom line. So in these factions, whether it's Bohemian Grove, the Council on Foreign Relations, Bilderberg, Skull and Bones, or some of these other groups, the individuals, we'll call them the privileged elite class, they believe that they, and only they, are destined and smart enough to rule and govern and make world decisions. Now, they're doing it for a lot of greedy reasons, because that way they consolidate and keep their power. But there's a small group, I was one of them, a small group that believe, hey, there are a lot of people out there, not the majority, but there's a lot of people out there that if they knew some of this information, they knew they were being put into a trance and being manipulated with false information, misinformation from the media and so forth. If they knew how things really worked, and they knew what they could do to actually improve the conditions of their life, they can improve their standard of living and improve their quality of life. If they knew how to use their mind, as Napoleon Hill said, and think and grow rich, and increase their wealth, increase their prosperity, increase their health, increase their longevity. If some of those people, that would be better for the world. That would empower people instead of having two classes, which is the ruling elite class and virtually the slave class. And so there was a small group, kind of the renegades, I was one of them, that got together and said, why don't we teach and make available to people, not that they have to participate or they have to buy into this, but at least make it available for those people who are searching, who do want more out of life, and are willing to go through some of the training and learn. And not everyone's going to continue with the training and actually apply it and become successful. But maybe there's a small group of people out there that do. And wouldn't that be better if we empower and offer? And the other side of the coin said, you're trying to make a pig sing, because these people are just not good enough and smart enough to take advantage of it. You're wasting your time. And we said, no, we should make it available so that if they do want to participate and learn this, they can join a club where they can learn the same information that's taught in some of these, we'll call them secret societies. The Masons was a secret society because, again, what goes on inside the Masons is secret, but the fact that the Masons exist is not.
Would you consider gin a secret society?
It's not a secret society because we're very open about the club and we're very open about the training. There's two types of secret societies out there. We'll use that phrase because it's very popular today, secret society. One is the group like Masons, Bilderberg, Bohemian Grove, Council on Foreign Relations, Skull and Bones. They're not secret. People know they exist. They know who the members are. But what goes on is secret. That's the first group. Then there's the second group of secret societies, which are really secret, that no one's ever heard about, like the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, I've never heard about the Brotherhood.
Right.
I go, yeah, because it's a secret.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's a true secret. So nobody knows the real secret societies, nobody knows exists.
Mm-hmm.
Just like back in the day, La Cosa Nostra,
Mm-hmm.
the mafia, right? That didn't exist because nobody knew about it. It wasn't until Joe Valachi back in the 50s.
Gave it a name.
He gave it a name, and he goes, this is how it works. There's 5 families in New York. They're on a commission. We call ourselves La Cosa Nostra, which
Mhm.
means in Italian, the thing that is ours, or our thing. and then it was dubbed the mafia by the media. But nobody knew it existed until he revealed it.
Right.
So same thing here. Nobody knows the real secret societies that exist. But gin is not a secret society. Gin is a prosperity club. It is a success club.
But technically, what you're doing behind closed doors or closed meetings or what have you aren't public knowledge, right?
It's for members only. It's absolutely for members only, but anyone can become a member. So it's not so secret. So if a journalist wants to become a member and do an expose,
right,
join the club. And I've had ABC News come to our functions. I've invited them in.
Mm-hmm.
And they had nothing to report. They were going, this is great.
Right.
We can't do an expose here because there's nothing to expose.
We're in an age where everything is available all the time to everybody. You know, you've got people like Tony Robbins and Joe Dispenza. There are these gurus out there. What's the difference between all of those methods? Why don't people just kind of use those avenues versus what the global information network is offering? What's the big difference?
I know most of those guys you mentioned, by the way, and some of the older ones like Zig Ziglar and Bob Proctor, who passed away. And there's a lot of great, Earl Nightingale, the great Ed Foreman. They're terrific. They teach success training. As you mentioned, you can buy a book, and I mentioned Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Ask and It Is Given by Esther Hicks, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Magic of Believing. There's a lot of great books out there. Karmic Management, The Diamond Cutter. There's a lot of great books out there that teach some basic information on how to become more successful, how to get more out of life, how to use the law of attraction, like the book The Secret, how to manifest your goals, dreams, and desires. The difference is the Global Information Network teaches information that goes beyond what these authors know about. There's a difference. You may know about China, but unless you've lived in China and unless you're Chinese, you don't know China.
So they're talking about it in theory and not practice.
That's correct. And some of it is, and I'm not saying it's bad material. It's good material. A lot of it is good
material.
material.
It's just not specific.
But they don't drill down. So when you go through the Success Mastery course in GIN, which is, again, we have two core trainings, the Success Mastery course and the Science of Personal Mastery course. I've had people who've gone through every one of Joe Dispenza and Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor's seminars. And I said, go through the Science of Personal Mastery course. Just go through a few lessons and let me know what you think. And they go, I haven't heard this anywhere. I've read 500 books. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on training with these other success gurus. I've watched all these videos on YouTube. How come no one's talking about this? And the answer is they don't know this. They know about success, but they don't know really how the mind works. They don't know the mechanics of the mind because they haven't actually seen the mind. They haven't been trained to go into a certain area where you can actually see the mechanics of how the mind works. So when we teach the people how to become successful, we're teaching you how to train and use your mind, not your brain, your mind. You can say it's the brain and they're the same, but they're technically different. But we train you because it's the same training that I got in the Brotherhood. This is really secret esoteric training, but some of it is just some basic success principles. So we have a combination of real life how-to success principles, what to do. How do you set a to-do list? How do you set a goal and objective and achieve it? How specifically do you overcome adversity? There's some technical things you need to know. But what about how to focus? How to shut off your mind? You know that little voice in your head that's always talking to you? How do you shut that off? Most people have no idea. They talk about, oh yeah, you have this mind. They'll say, quiet the mind. Great. How do I quiet the mind? Well, they don't know how. The great book by Dr. Maxwell Maltz called Psycho-Cybernetics talked about self-image. You have to have an image of yourself congruent with and in alignment with who you want to become. If you want to become successful, then you have to have an image of yourself as that successful person. And he talks at length about the power of self-image. But he doesn't tell you how to change the image you have of yourself. In the Science of Personal Mastery course, there's 15 lessons that you go through in a row, which are the absolute perfect technical way to change that self-image.
And where did that information come from that is sort of proprietary, if you will, to GIN? Where did you get that information?
I learned it when I was inducted into the Brotherhood back in 1969. When I was brought into the Brotherhood, I went through their training. And their training was secret. It was for members only. So I learned all this information. I didn't invent it. And what I've done with the guidance and with the encouragement of the other members of the Gym Council, who are members of some of these groups as well, was to codify it and actually write it down. At one of our last events, I actually took some of the original manuals that I had written from the Brotherhood, and I read a few paragraphs. And you could hear a pin drop in the room because I said, I'm going to read the actual manual that I had in the early 70s on how to use the mind and contract energy and focus the thought on a narrow beam. And I read this, and everyone, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop. Jaws were hitting the ground, eyes were as big as saucers, and they said, we've never heard anything like this in any book on success. So when people start learning this information and then start applying it, the results are spectacular. And here what the results are. People start making more money faster, generally. Their health generally improves. Sleep gets better. Energy levels get better. But more importantly, their sense of power and purpose, their happiness goes up. What occurs when you go through our training is the things in your mind that gets triggered. You know, when somebody says, he really pushes my buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that means somebody else has complete control over you. Something else can happen. Somebody can say something, your spouse, a friend, whatever, and you just get all mad. You have an uncontrollable, irrational emotion. You're not that powerful then, because somebody else can just, you're like a puppet on a string.
Well, there's no getting rid of that completely, though, right?
No, there is.
Okay.
You can, because what causes that? It's an energetic imprint. In ancient Sanskrit, it's called a samskara. In American vernacular, we use the word engram a lot, which was popularized back at the turn of the century. It's an energetic imprint. It's a memory. It's a holographic memory of something where there's emotion attached or encapsulated into it. And it lies dormant in your memory. And when something in the current situation triggers it, that's when you have your button pushed. It gets keyed in. It gets activated. It gets re-stimulated. It comes to surface. And then you have no control. You have an uncontrollable emotion. And many times it's irrational. But there is a technical way that we teach how to go into the mind, find that samskara or energetic imprint or engram, and blow the charge, virtually dissipate the energy. The memory is still there. As a matter of fact, the memory becomes even clearer. You can actually confront it fully because you have power, but it doesn't have a reaction. There's nothing to re-stimulate. You can think about, and I had one particular gal come to me when she would think of her brother who got murdered in South Africa. She thought about it, and every time she tried to think about it, she would burst into tears because it re-stimulated. Well, we blew out the charge in 2 minutes using one of the techniques that we teach in the Success Mastery course and the Science of Personal Mastery course. And now when she talks about it and thinks about it, she can see it in her mind, she can confront it fully, but she has no reaction. She still says it was a terrible thing, but she doesn't have an uncontrollable and emotional and irrational emotion today based on an event that happened 20 years ago or 30 years ago. If you have those in your field, it is preventing you, slowing you down from manifesting your goals, dreams, and desires, and really being at cause over your environment today.
So, Kevin, what kind of people join the Global Information Network? What does the average member sort of look like?
Well, we have members in over 150 countries, and they come from a variety of industries. So we have, at the top level, we have very successful multi-millionaires. Some people are worth $10 million, $100 million, leaders of industry, politicians, a whole host of celebrities, very successful people. We have health-oriented people. We have people that are very spiritually oriented. They want spiritual enlightenment or self-realization. We have people that want to know what goes on behind the curtain. I don't want to say conspiracy theorists, but people that really want to know what really is going on. Are we being lied to in the media? Are the drug companies not telling us the truth? Are our politicians not telling us the truth? Who really controls the politicians? Is it the lobbyist? Is it the party? What goes on behind the curtain that we're not being privy to? So they want that inside information. But at the end of the day, the people that join our club are people that want more out of life. They want to improve the conditions of their life.
If you were to encapsulate what members of GIN get, and not speaking in sort of metaphors, but what they actually get by joining, and then what your elevator pitch would be, literally, if you're riding up to the doctor's office and somebody's in there and you want to change their life, how would you describe the Global Information Network to them?
Well, if a person is interested, they can go to globalinformationnetwork.com. They can read the material there. It won't take too long. There's some videos they can watch. They can understand the whole thing. In a nutshell, basically, when a person joins the club, the first thing they get for free is they get a ticket to a 5-day cruise. Every January or every couple of years, we have a leadership cruise. It's 5 full days, and we take over an entire cruise ship. The next one's coming up in January. We took over the Norwegian Cruise Line ship, the Pearl. There's 2,200 people will be on there, members only. So we own the ship for the week. We're a successful club. So we own the ship for the entire week. I'll be doing most of the teaching on that cruise, as well as other celebrities, other very wealthy people, and so forth. It'll be a magnificent time, and everyone loves the cruise. If I was Forbes, or if I was one of these other success gurus, and I said, come to a 5-day cruise, they charge $30,000 to $50,000 for the training. It's free. So when a member joins our club, they get to go on that cruise absolutely free. There's no cost whatsoever. So they get that for free. Secondly, we give them a free ticket to the next land-based event as well. So we have 4 events a year. The next land-based event, weekend event, they can come to for free. And again, any one of the other success gurus would charge $15,000 or more for that weekend. You get a ticket for free. If you can't go live, you get a virtual ticket for free. Next, you get access to all the local chapter meetings. You get access to the weekly member development series audio tape. So we have a 30 to 40-minute audio that we send out every week with
downloads for people that don't use audio tapes.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah. They're not audio tapes anymore, right? Yeah. They're digital downloads.
Reel to reels.
Yeah.
Okay.
They used to be cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Or then they used to be CDs, but now they're digital downloads.
Okay. Just making sure.
So you get a digital download every week. And that audio is based on, we share with you information on how to be successful on a variety of subjects. You also get free access to 4 seminars every year virtually. So you can just go on your computer and watch a seminar for free. Again, these would cost thousands of dollars by other people when if they were to offer them. You get that for free as a member. Then you get access to the Success Mastery course, which is the PhD success course. It's the ultimate success course in the world. It starts with Your Wish is Your Command, how to manifest your desires. It's the audios. It's all me. And I teach you step by step how to become successful in life, how to manifest your goals, dreams, and desires. Then you get for free the written course, the Science of Personal Mastery course. Those courses would cost tens of thousands of dollars. You get it for free. And the biggest thing is you get to associate and develop masterminds with other members from around the world. Leaders in a variety of industries. You might meet celebrities, you might meet dignitaries, you might meet very wealthy multi-millionaires, you might meet successful internet people. We have major crypto investors who've made tens of millions of dollars a month in crypto who are members of our club. And you meet that person, you now have connections, that you wouldn't have before. There's so many benefits that members get that non-members don't have. And so our club is really the ultimate success club in the world, but it's not for everyone. And this is why when people join, we give you that cruise. We give you all this stuff for free in the beginning, so you can know right away if this is a club that resonates with you, that you think you can get some benefit from.
So they can go on the cruise, say this isn't for me, and they have not paid you a single dime.
No, they have to join. So there's a sign-up fee depending on where they live in the world and monthly dues.
Okay.
But they can quit at any time. Now, every month we have people joining our club. And every month we may have somebody resign from the club. We have almost no attrition. we have incredibly small attrition. That tells the tale. When you look at other subscription-based programs, and I have a lot of friends in that business, people join, and I go, what's your attrition rate every month? 30, 40%. So a person joins this month, and next month, 40% of those people that join this month are going to be quitting in the next 2 or 3 months. We have almost nobody quit. I mean, we have some.
Yeah.
But some of them have been in our club for 10 years, and they're like, I'm retiring.
Yes, I've gotten everything that I need, perhaps. Out
Yeah,
of it.
you know, it's time for me to move on. But we have almost no attrition, and that really tells the tale. So I would always encourage somebody to say, look, if you don't do this and you want to become successful, what else are you going to do? Where are you going to learn this information? You're going to read some books? You're going to listen to some idiots on YouTube that have made 2 nickels in their life? Or you're going to listen to all these success gurus who the only money they ever made in their life was selling courses on how to make money and how to become successful.
So you don't have to be rich. You don't have to be a celebrity to join.
No, we have people who want more out of life. And that means not always I want more money, although a large percentage of the people that join are joining so that they can connect with other people, they can make connections, associate with very successful people, get business deals, get advantages of those connections. You know, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
So they want that. They also want knowledge. They want to feel better. They want secret knowledge of longevity and health and dynamic health that the rich and famous kind of have, but the average person doesn't know. They want to know the secrets of the law of attraction, the secrets of manifesting goals, dreams, and desires. They want to know the success formula that never fails. So they want to know those things. They want to know how to invest in real estate, how to invest in crypto. What do the experts know that they're not sharing with the masses? And there's a lot. So people are joining because they want more, either more money, more material prosperity, better health. They want better friendships. They want to associate with winners. They want better friends. Your income, as I mentioned, is the average of your 5 best friends. And people, a lot of times when they hear that and they go, I need to get some new friends. But it's true. So you need to have new relationships. So they join the club because it's a safe haven. They can say, I can join this club. I can get what I want out of it. I can put as much into it as I want. There's no time commitment. And I can get things that I can't get anywhere else to improve my quality of life and standard of living and give me a greater sense of power and control over my own destiny.
So, Kevin, how have you seen people's lives discernibly change after joining GIN? Who were they before? Who do you see them becoming after?
You couldn't write the success stories for a Hollywood script because nobody would believe them. The club's been around for almost 2 decades. People join and they tell their story. They tell their story on stage. They tell their story at our 4 rallies that we have a year where they record their story and we share it with our members. I have stacks, and I mean this much, from emails, telegram posts, letters, real physical letters that come in, people write, sometimes 2, 3, 4 pages. And they tell their story. They say, when I joined the club, I was depressed, or I was lost, or I was stuck in a dead-end job, or I had 3 businesses that I tried that had failed, or my relationships were just terrible. And then I went through the training. And the stories we hear are really like a fairy tale. My businesses went up. I got job promotions. I lost 30 or 40 pounds. My health is better than ever. Relationships got better. Sometimes people say, I finally, by joining the club, my relationship ended and I met the person of my dreams in the club. We have so many people that meet other motivated, excited people in the club, and there's a lot of, relationships that develop there, marriages and kids and things. It's really exciting. But the changes are, you could use the word miraculous, and they really are. And you could use the word almost fantastical, because they are. Because the training works. The information produces quantifiable, measurable results. And it's not me saying it. I could have brought a stack of comments here, and for the whole 45 minutes, I could have read story after story, and you would say, being a journalist, that can't be true. But it is true. And that's why on our website, globalinformationnetwork.com, we have some of those people. You can see them. They're real people. They're not reading a teleprompter. They're not reading a script. We just grab them and saying, hey, what did you get out of the membership? And they go, well, when I joined, I was making this, and now 3 years later, last year I made $1.5 million. I was just on the phone with a member, and I said, how are you doing this year financially wise? He goes, I made $253,000 so far this year. And I says, doing what? He goes, nothing, virtually working out of my house. Because I learned the techniques in the Global Information Network. I applied it in the business that I found interesting and resonated with me. And before, the results were minimal. And now, because my mindset has changed, because I've gone through the Success Mastery course and the Science of Personal Mastery course, I'm making more money than I ever made in my life. And he goes, this is just the beginning. He goes, but more importantly, the peace I have, the sense of purpose and fulfillment that I have, my self-confidence is higher now than ever before. We have people that start who couldn't even imagine being on stage telling their story. The fear of public speaking is overwhelming. They would come into a room and they'd be like that wallflower, right? They would just never want to meet anyone. And then a year or two later, they're on stage grabbing the microphone saying, my whole self-image, my confidence is so much greater. My ability to communicate, my ability to be heard. So many people say that now that I'm a member, I am being heard. I have more friends, people like me more, people enjoy my company more, people call me, I'm getting affirmed in life, I'm getting recognition in life from various things that I've never gotten before. I feel better about myself. My kids talk to me now and actually respect me. My spouse, the sex is better. I mean, we have all these amazing things. And this is what happens when you get change from the inside. There's a hermetic principle which goes back many, many centuries, thousands of years. And it says, as within, so without. So when you change the inside, when you change your thinking, your vibration, the frequency that you put out, the experience you have in your life, the conditions of your life change.
Well, thank you for your time, sir.
Glad to be here.
Pleasure. My guest today has been Kevin Trudeau, founder of the Global Information Network. We'll see you next time.